Your heart starts racing, your palms become sweaty, your breathing gets faster while a knot forms in your stomach. You scan the room looking for danger, but there is none. Nobody is threatening you or chasing you. Nothing bad has happened. And yet every instinct in your body is telling you that something terrible is about to happen. What if that feeling never really goes away? What if your brain keeps preparing for a disaster that never comes? That is the reality for millions of people living with anxiety disorders. Everyone experiences anxiety. Before a job interview, an important exam, or a first date, feeling nervous is completely normal. In fact, anxiety is one of the most useful emotions humans possess. Without it, our ancestors would have been far less likely to survive. Imagine hearing a rustle in the bushes 10,000 years ago. If you assumed it was nothing, you might end up becoming dinner for a predator. But if your body immediately became alert, your heart rate increased, and your senses sharpened, your chances of survival improved dramatically. Anxiety evolved as a survival mechanism. The problem is that sometimes the system stops working properly. According to the World Health Organization, anxiety disorders are the most common mental disorders in the world, affecting approximately 359 million people globally. They are not simply moments of nervousness or occasional stress. They are persistent patterns of excessive fear and worry that interfere with daily life. This raises an important question. If anxiety exists to protect us, when does it become a disorder? The answer lies in how the brain responds to perceived threats. Deep inside your brain is a small, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. Think of it as part of your internal alarm system. Its job is to detect danger and trigger the body's emergency response. When the amygdala senses a threat, it activates the fight-or-flight response, releasing stress hormones such as adrenaline and cortisol into the bloodstream. These chemicals prepare your body for action. Your heart beats faster, your breathing increases, blood is redirected toward major muscle groups, and your senses become sharper. In a genuine emergency, this response can save your life. But anxiety disorders occur when the alarm system begins responding to situations that are not actually dangerous. Imagine a fire alarm that goes off every time someone makes toast. The alarm itself is functioning exactly as intended. The problem is that it is activating at the wrong time. That is essentially what happens in many anxiety disorders. The brain pulls the fire alarm despite there being no fire. As a result, people begin experiencing very real physical symptoms, and these symptoms can become so intense that many people become convinced they are having a heart attack or dying. This is particularly true during a panic attack. One of the most common stories told by people with panic disorder begins in an emergency room. A person is sitting at work, driving a car, or relaxing at home when suddenly a wave of terror crashes over them. Their heart pounds against their chest. Their breathing becomes difficult. They feel detached from reality. Some genuinely believe they are about to die within minutes. Terrified, they rush to the hospital. Doctors perform tests. They check the heart. They examine blood pressure. They look for signs of a medical emergency. And then they deliver an unexpected diagnosis. The patient's heart is fine. What they experienced was a panic attack. Research has found that panic-related symptoms account for a significant number of emergency department visits, with studies estimating that panic symptoms may be present in between 17% and 37% of certain emergency room populations. The strange thing about anxiety disorders is that they often become self-reinforcing. Imagine your heart suddenly starts racing, you notice it immediately. Why is my heart beating so fast? That thought creates more anxiety. The increased anxiety causes your heart to beat even faster. Now you become even more concerned. Before long, you are trapped in a feedback loop, where fear creates symptoms, and the symptoms create more fear. The body becomes afraid of its own alarm system. This cycle is one reason anxiety disorders can become so difficult to overcome without treatment. The person is not simply afraid of external situations anymore. They begin fearing the sensations themselves. However, not all anxiety disorders look the same. Generalized anxiety disorder, often called GAD, involves persistent and excessive worry about everyday life. People may worry about work, health, finances, relationships, or future events, even when there is little reason for concern. According to the Anxiety and Depression Association of America, millions of adults experience this condition every year. Panic disorder is different. It is characterized by recurrent panic attacks and the fear of future attacks. The person may spend large portions of their life worrying about when the next episode will occur. Then there is social anxiety disorder. This condition goes far beyond simple shyness. People with social anxiety often experience intense fear of embarrassment, criticism, or judgment from others. Everyday activities such as speaking in public, attending social gatherings, or even making eye contact can become incredibly stressful. Studies suggest that social anxiety disorder affects millions of people and often begins during adolescence. The consequences of anxiety disorders extend far beyond feelings of fear. Many people struggle to sleep because their minds refuse to slow down. Others avoid opportunities that could improve their careers because the anxiety feels overwhelming. Relationships may suffer. Social lives may shrink. Some individuals stop traveling, attending events, or pursuing goals they once cared about. Over time, anxiety can quietly reshape a person's entire world. The tragedy is that many people never seek help. The World Health Organization estimates that only about 1 in 4 people with anxiety disorders receive treatment, despite the existence of highly effective options. Fortunately, anxiety disorders are treatable. One of the most effective treatments is cognitive behavioral therapy, often called CBT. This approach helps people identify distorted thought patterns and gradually retrain how they respond to anxiety-provoking situations. Medications can also be effective for some individuals by helping regulate the brain systems involved in fear and stress. Lifestyle changes such as regular exercise, proper sleep, stress management, and reducing excessive caffeine consumption can also make a significant difference. Finally, the most important thing to understand is that anxiety disorders are not a sign of weakness. They are the result of a survival system that has become overactive. The same brain mechanisms that once helped our ancestors survive predators can sometimes misfire in the modern world. The alarm system is trying to protect you. It is simply sounding the warning at the wrong time. That being said, what do you think? Have you ever experienced anxiety, a panic attack, or known someone who struggled with an anxiety disorder? Let me know your thoughts and experiences in the comments below. Stay curious and take care.